Hi guys, and welcome to Escape Wheel Watch Reviews. My name is Steve, and today we're looking at the Ironwatch RX8005, better known as the Day-Date Homage. So this watch was provided to the channel by the Ironwatch official store on AliExpress. I do not have to send the watch back, but as you know, that's not going to sway my review one way or another, although it might sound like it because I do really like this watch. The retail price for this watch is about $240. There always seems to be a coupon or a sale right around the corner on AliExpress, so I have seen these drop just a little bit down to about $230-ish. So just keep that in mind when you're purchasing. I still think $240 is a fine price for this watch. This watch comes in two different colors. You have this silver white that you see here, and then a really striking blue sunburst dial. I think that one also looks great, but I wanted to try this one out, and I haven't seen this one on YouTube yet, so I just wanted to check it out and kind of get it on camera so you guys can really see the color of that dial, because I know silver white is a weird name for a color, but it's pretty accurate. The watch case is made of 316L stainless steel. It has a sapphire crystal, screw-down crown, screw-down case back, 100 meters of claimed water resistance, a beautiful stainless steel bracelet and clasp, and it's powered by the Hangzhou 6330 automatic movement. There aren't many Day-Date homages on AliExpress or in general. I know Bulova has one and Orient has one, obviously Rolex, but for AliExpress it's basically this one and the Cadison Day-Date, which I did review. I'll leave the link for that up here. I reviewed that a while ago and also gave it away. Pretty nice watch as well. This one is definitely a step above though. And I have been asked to do a quick comparison with the Cronos that I just reviewed. So since I do have them on hand, I will put them side by side in just a little bit. But we'll save that for the end. So if you want to just jump straight to that, if you're trying to decide between this and that, jump down below. But I do suggest watching this full review because, I mean, this is a good watch. This is a really good watch. So I say we jump right in, get to this review, but before we do a quick wrist check. Today I'm wearing the Alpha Daytona ST19 on a Perlon strap. I think this combo just looks pretty cool. What do you guys think? I did review a very similar version of this watch, not with the steel bezel, but with the aluminum bezel, so I'll leave that link up here. But otherwise, I've been really enjoying this watch, and I did do a little modification to this one. It comes with a polished bezel, and I just brushed it myself, so yeah, I do think it looks pretty cool. Anyway, let's get back to the review. All right, so let's look at the dimensions. So case diameter is 40.1 millimeters. Case thickness is 13.2, 21 millimeter lug width, 47.5 lug tip to lug tip, and there are little male protruding links on this thing, so the overall lug to lug is 50 millimeters. So these dimensions are pretty much spot on except for the thickness compared to the Cronos. You can see again, fairly flat case here, but really nicely done, I think. I think this thing wears great. 21 millimeter lug width, so unfortunately I'm not going to be able to swap on any straps, but I think the bracelet is good enough that you're not going to want to take it off. And so yeah, I'm going to go outside right now and throw it on the wrist for you. And here you can see on my 7.5 inch wrist, it wears great. I got no complaints with it. You can see all the sparkle off that bezel. It looks really, really good. President bracelet, again, looking nice, very comfortable, and feels very balanced on wrist, so pretty happy with that. You can see it's got a pretty flat case profile here, but again, relatively short lug to lug, so it does fit me nicely. Those male end links on the bracelet, they start tapering down pretty good, so it's not really an issue that they're, you know, the dimension that they are. So yeah, I do like the way this thing looks. I think it plays with the light very nicely, and yeah, it looks really good. Here's a close-up of the dial. It just looks great. I'm not sure what else to say. It looks really good. It's very legible. The white dial was a little bit of a concern with the silver hands, but really most of the time it's not a problem reading it. You've got anti-reflective coating on the crystal. You've got anti-reflective coating on the Cyclops as well, so it keeps it nice and clear. And yeah, I mean, it just looks great. And out in some direct sunlight, you can see really nice sunburst on the dial here. It's kind of a silvery white, more white out in the sunlight than inside, I think. So it's a really interesting color. I do like it a lot. You can see really good sparkle off of the dial indices and the hands. Direct sunlight here, it doesn't look that bad in person, but It's definitely got a little bit of a washout, but not too bad. But yeah, I think it all looks really good. You got tons of sparkle off that bezel and the bracelet. Really nicely done though, super comfortable. And yeah, I think it looks really good. What do you guys think? I've got no 21 millimeters, and I mean the bracelet's good enough where I'm not going to want to take it off. So let's go back inside and get back to the review. All right, so let's talk about the case finishing. So as you can see, the case finishing is very simple. It's fully polished. There's not a single brush surface on the case except for on the case back. We'll talk about that in just a second. But the actual case itself, really nice, very smooth polishing. I mean, if this isn't the Cronos case, it is so close that you can't really tell. I mean, they're both done really well. I see no issues with the polishing on this thing. Very smooth, very nice, nicely rounded case there, as you can see. Yeah, really happy with it. Same with the other side here, fully polished. And then you've got a nice signed crown here. I kind of wish they'd start using this logo. Getting really close here, it kind of looks like a sailboat maybe in a sunset. I don't know. What do you guys think that is? I don't really see it on any of their marketing, so it was kind of unusual that this came with that, but I'm happy it is because it is a pretty cool logo, and I think they should start using that. You can see the crown kind of nestles into the case there, which is nice to see. Yeah, plenty of grip on it too. It's a little tiny one, but it works really, really good. Yeah, really happy with it. You can see the case back on this thing, circular brushing on the bottom of the lugs. The case back itself is a Rolex style case back with a mixture of brush and polished surfaces. Again, nicely done. I do wish, again, they would just use regular tools to get in there. But it is what it is. You can see the case back protrudes quite a bit. I think that's where that extra 1.5 millimeters or so of thickness comes from. But otherwise, it's pretty much spot on to the Cronos, and I think it looks really good. I mean, they really did a good job with this one. So let's talk about the bezel on this thing. So again, I didn't notice any text or literature or anything stating that this wasn't just a stainless steel bezel, but I think it's done the same way as the Cronos and the San Martin, and that is a nickel bezel, which is then plated with palladium, and that kind of gives you the sparkle, a lot better than something like a Pagani design or the Cadison that I reviewed. This one definitely kind of catches the light and sparkles a lot better than that. And you can see, I mean, getting up real close, you can see how crisp these lines are. I mean, it's just really, really nicely done. Very happy with it. And it looks fantastic. It looks absolutely fantastic. Yeah, so let's talk about the crystal on this thing. So just for sapphire real quick. See, positive 4 sapphire. The Cyclops is also sapphire. So as you would expect, sapphire crystal, sapphire Cyclops, really happy with that. Plenty of anti-reflective coating. You can see there's kind of a blue tinge around the Cyclops here on the date, so there is anti-reflective coating on the Cyclops as well. And it keeps the dial very legible, very crisp, very clean. Super happy with the crystal. I mean, it's not anything special, but it does the job, and it does the job really well. You can see the Cyclops. In my opinion, it is perfectly aligned, and I think it does do a pretty good job of magnifying that. Definitely not 2.5x, but I think it does look pretty good. And then the crystal sits ever so slightly above the bezel there, with a nice chamfer kind of leading up to the flat surface. Yeah, again, it's nothing spectacular, but it is fully functional and it fits the watch perfect. I've got zero complaints with the crystal on this thing. All right, so let's talk about the dial on this thing. So the dial is done really nice. This is that white silver color, and that's a perfect way to describe it. It's just a super light silver color. Almost kind of looks like a pearlescent white in some lighting. You probably saw it really good out in my outdoor shots with the wrist check. It's a really nice color. Obviously, I knew it wasn't a pure white. That's what I'm kind of looking for, is like a glossy white one, but no one makes it. So this is pretty close to it, and this is really good looking. Very nice, very happy with it. Yeah, it looks good. So going around the dial here, we've got a printed minute track in black. Looks like sub-seconds as well. Unusual choice there, but I don't think it looks bad at all. And then you've got your 5-minute increments. They're marked with the numerals. I think it all looks really good. Very nicely printed. Ironwatch branding in black. Automatic in black. Very simple branding and very simple dial text. It's very clean. Nicely done though. I've got no complaints with the printing. The applied indices are done really nicely. I don't see anything that's out of alignment. Yeah, really happy with them. They're nice and clean. I mean, just the finishing on them is excellent. As you can see there, they're kind of a U-shaped, which is really unusual, different than the Cronos is. And then you've got a frame date window, as you can see here. I kind of wish they wouldn't do that, but honestly, it doesn't bother me, and I think it really fills out that Cyclops. The handset on this thing, really nice. Again, you've got faceted, just baton hands with a needle second hand sweeping around there, perfectly sized. I mean, that second hand reaches right out to the minute track. The minute hand is just short of it, but close enough. I mean, I think they look great. They contrast a lot better than I was expecting them to with the dial, so that's nice to see as well. Yeah, really happy with that. And then you've got your day complication at the 12 o'clock here. Really interesting. It is centered in there nicely. I'm not sure what's up with the 4. I know that was kind of a vintage thing, why they decided to put it on this. I'm not sure. I thought it would really bother me, but it really doesn't. Probably because I don't usually need to check what day it is, and it's just there for a visual, to add visual interest to the dial. But yeah, I don't think it looks bad at all. And yeah, overall though, I am really happy with the dial on this thing. I'm glad I went with this color. It looks absolutely fantastic. And surprisingly, the Lume on this watch is actually really good. So I'm going to pop up a Lume shot right now. I'm actually using the Lume shot from the Cronos video, but you can see here against the Cronos in the middle and the St. Martin on the left, the Ironwatch hangs in there, and surprisingly so. I mean, it's really good Lume. Not very much area to put the Lume on it, but they did a really good job of it, and the Lume is actually really good on this watch. All right, so let's talk about the movement in this. So the movement is the Hangzhou 6330. It is an ETA 2824 variant clone. So they basically just added a new date wheel to the 2824 clone, and then that's what this is. So it hand winds 28,800 beats per hour. It is about 40 hours of power reserve, 28 joules. It's been a solid movement for me. I'm going to pop up the time grapher shot right here, so you can see how accurate it's been for me. It's been really good, actually. Quite impressive. So you unscrew the crown here. Again, screw down crown, nicely done. First position is hand winding. So it's a very clicky movement. I can feel the clicks, and I don't think you can hear them, but yeah, you're not going to be able to hear that. But it's a very clicky winding, which is interesting. It's not like my PT5000 or the SW200s or anything like that. It's interesting feeling. But then the first, I'm going to go straight to the third position here. It does hack the movement, as you can see here. I'm going to show you the date changeover. So it is Thursday the 16th. So pretty close to midnight. You're going to see it all switch over pretty much instantly. So right there. So 17th and Friday, instant changeover right before midnight. Yeah, really happy with that. And I'm just going to advance this a little bit so we get out of the danger zone. And I'll show you the changing. So when you wind the crown forward, you change the date. Really nice, crisp sounding. Here you can see the numbers. They're all aligned and they're pretty nicely too. I've got no issues with the alignment of the date here. And then if you wind it backwards, you get this day change. So there's Friday, and kind of does this weird half change. Saturday, Sunday in red with this unusual symbol, but I think it looks pretty cool. Yeah, I've got no issues with the function of this movement. It looks really, really good. I'm going to change it back to Thursday here because I'm going to put this right back on rest. But yeah, I'm really happy with the watch movement. It's been great for me. It feels fine. It's not a noisy movement. It's easy to wind. Yeah, I've got no real issues with it. And the screw-in action, It feels like it's spring loaded again. I'm not feeling any resistance while I'm winding it, so nice and buttery smooth, plenty of grip. And again, it nestles right down into this little indent in the case. Very nicely done. Very happy with it. All right, so let's talk about the bracelet on this. So like I mentioned earlier, it is a 21 millimeter bracelet, and it does taper down to 15.5, 16 millimeters at the clasp. It is a president style bracelet, so you kind of have it's a 3-link bracelet with kind of half circles as the links there, solid links, solid end links, screw pins for adjusting, as you can see there. You've got a nicely milled clasp here. We'll talk about that in just a second. So let's talk about the finishing real quick. So the brush surfaces on the outer links, they're done really, really nicely. Very smooth brushing. Very happy with that. Same with the inner links. I mean, they're polished and they just look great. They look absolutely just smooth, which is pretty tough to do on a surface so small. So really happy with that. You've got great articulation with this bracelet. It is somewhat flexible here. You can see, I mean, there's some gap in between the links there. You don't really notice it when it's on the wrist or anything like that, but yeah, I think because of that, it actually breathes a little bit better than something like an oyster style bracelet. Very happy with it. The end links are just a nice single piece here, really nicely finished as well, as you can see there. The integration into the case, I think it follows the case pretty good. Could be a little bit better there, but really not bad. And it does stop short of the end link, so the overall end link or end link to end link length is minimized a little bit there. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. The fitment in here is just rock solid. Yeah, I love this bracelet. It's very comfortable. I mean, it's on par with the Jubilee, I think. I've had no comfort issues with this bracelet at all. So yeah, it's a really nice bracelet. Very happy with it. So the clasp on this, it is unsigned. I wish they would sign it with that, that crown logo. I think that would be pretty cool down here. But it is just a sterile clasp here. Really nicely finished again. Brushed on the outers, polished on the inners, and I mean, it's just smooth. You don't see any of those peaks and valleys we talk about, and that's kind of what you get when you're stepping up into this $200+ price range. You just don't see those peaks and valleys. Really nice polishing there. The polishing on the side, again, same thing, really nice and clean. This is a very simple clasp. I had the same clasp on my San Martin version 1. It's also the same clasp that is on the Cronos. Really simple to use. It's just one latch right there. That's it. So you push it down, it latches into place. Really satisfying click in the place too. Yeah, I've got no problems with this clasp. It's been excellent for me. It's never come undone on me or anything like that. It also has a quick adjust thing, so you got about 5 millimeters of extra length there, so that's a nice bonus there. And when you do pop this out, you can get a spring bar tool in right there, and you can adjust this micro adjust. I really wish they would just use regular micro adjust holes, but I get why they do that. It's a very clean, simple design on the outside of the clasp there. But yeah, I've had no issues with the clasp. Very happy with it. I love the clasp. I love the bracelet. I love this watch. So there you go, guys. That is the Ironwatch Day homage. Really, really happy with this watch. If you are interested in purchasing this watch, I'll be leaving the link down below. That is an affiliate link. Thank you guys so much for using the links. Thank you for subscribing, all that stuff. It really helps the channel. I'm getting these watches in because of you guys and because of your support. So thank you guys so much. I really can't express how much I appreciate your guys' support. And also thank you to the Ironwatch store for sending this watch in for review. Again, really, really appreciate it. It's a great watch. Anyone that buys this watch is going to love it. So I said I was going to do a comparison between this and the Cronos. So I'm going to bring in the Cronos here. So here you can see the Cronos next to it. I mean, these things are so darn close that I just, I mean, if I didn't have them side by side, they are pretty much identical. I mean, the case finishing on both is excellent, as you can see. I mean, there's no surprises here. So the thickness is one thing that the Ironwatch is a little bit thicker, and you can see it's a little bit on the case back and actually a little bit on the bezel. So I think the slope of the bezel on the Ironwatch is just a little bit more steep, if that makes sense. And that's why they kind of catch the light differently. So you can see the Cronos really sparkles in this angle, where the Ironwatch, you need to tilt it just a little bit more to start catching it. I mean, the finishing on the fluted bezel is exactly the same. I mean, it's so close, guys, so close. See the same clasps here. The bracelets are a toss-up for me. I mean, this Jubilee on the Cronos is excellent, but this President style bracelet, I absolutely love the look of it. Definitely a more casual watch as opposed to more dressy on this one. Yeah, I mean, the bracelet is a toss-up to me. The case is a toss-up. Crystal is a toss-up. Actually, I think the crystal goes to the Ironwatch. I think it magnifies a little bit better. The dials, again, I think they're a toss-up again. It's so close. It's just so close. I mean, look at the indices. You can see what I was talking about earlier with the kind of U-shaped index of the Ironwatch versus kind of just a filled rectangle of the Cronos. Yeah, it's just so close, guys. I do like that capped second hand on the Cronos, but otherwise I think the hands are pretty much the same. They're a little bit bigger on the Ironwatch, which I do prefer. Yeah, the movements, again, I think is a toss-up. PT5000 in this one versus the Hangzhou 6330. They're both Etaclones. They're both going to be reliable, and they're both been very accurate for me. So the only place that the Ironwatch really takes a big advantage is the Lume, I think. So if you put a lot of weight into the Lume of a watch, the Ironwatch is definitely better than the Cronos. Not saying the Cronos is bad, but the Ironwatch is a little bit better. And then obviously having that day complication at the 12 o'clock position. I know some people really want that, and this is basically your only option. So yeah, here it is side by side. Like I mentioned, quick comparison. They're so close to each other. I think it really comes down to which one you prefer the look of. If you want that day-date complication, Ironwatch is going to be it. If you don't want that complication, Cronos is going to be it. But as far as the case finishing goes and the bezel and all that stuff, I think they are identical, or they're not identical, but they would get the same score if I was ranking them. So yeah, really happy with both of these watches. I think either one of them is going to be great for anyone. So there you go, guys. That's the quick comparison between the Cronos and the Ironwatch. Yeah, I think they're both great. Back to the Ironwatch, though. Yeah, very happy with this watch. I've been loving it. Keep an eye out for it on my Instagram page. It's going to pop up from here and there. If you guys have any questions or comments on the Ironwatch or on the Cronos, just drop them down below. I'll be happy to answer them for you guys. I think that's about it, though. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.